Our first speaker is Jake Johnson. Jake Johnson grew up a poor kid in Stewartville, Minnesota. He remembers going to bed hungry in a drafty house during the harsh Minnesota winter, but through hard work, strong community support, his mother's food stamps, and stepfather's veterans benefits, and a quality public education, Jake was able to elevate himself to the middle class. Because of Pell Grants and Stafford loans from the Department of Education, he was able to attend the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. After he graduated, he wanted to give back to his community and interviewed for just one job, a math teacher position in Rochester Public Schools. For 19 years, Jake has taught students from remedial math to AP Calculus to help every student reach their full potential. Jake is a proud member of his union's bargaining team, where he negotiates to raise wages and improve working conditions from over 1,000 teachers, nurses, and social workers in the district. Jake has also been active in his community, serving on the board of the financial literacy nonprofit called Minnesota Jumpstart Coalition, and organizing for the recent school referendum in Rochester. And just so you all know, Jake has announced his candidacy for congressman in Minnesota District Number 1.
So thank you for having me here today. Thank you for inviting me. That was a great introduction, and I hope it paints a picture for you of where I come from. I grew up in Stewartville, it's true, and a lot of people ask me, Jake, why are you running? What got you into this? I hope it's crystal clear that I am a regular citizen who loves my job of 19 years teaching math, and I would like to continue teaching math. It's the joy of my professional life to serve my community, to serve my students, to serve their families. I am so proud that I have taught for nearly 2 decades in Rochester. But the day after the election, in November, I had a former student reach out to me. Jake, hey, you want to catch up? Sure, yeah, let's talk. And we were commiserating, we were talking about what had happened. And after going back and forth and talking about local and state and national politics, he said, I want you to consider running for Congress. I said, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just a teacher. He said, well, things are going to get bad, and we're going to need regular people to stand up and do something. We're going to need regular people to use their voice, use their platform, use whatever skills they have, because it's going to get bad. And so I thought about it and watched what happened. And it kind of started with word that we were going to, as a country, dismantle and attempt to take apart the Department of Education. That this was our vision for public schools in America. The Department of Education, just to be clear, serves both public and private schools across our country. And it serves students with IEPs. It serves students who benefit from Title I benefits, our most needy, financially needy students, in communities all across our district and our country. See, what it represents is a dark and troubled vision for who we are as a country and where we're going. It's backward looking. And so these cuts, very similar to many of the cuts that we have seen, are short-sighted and dangerous and put our students' health, mental health, and learning outcomes at serious risk. I teach in Rochester. We had a $2 million grant that was canceled. The grant paid to prepare social workers for a future in the career, with the hope that we would be able to retain them in Rochester. but it was cut. Why? Nobody really knows why, but supposedly it's under this DEI initiative. So now our students have less access to the mental health supports that they so desperately need. An innovative program created locally and supported federally simply because it was tagged the wrong way. Our superintendent, who is not a political entity, reacted and said this is harmful for our students. Our teachers union said this is bad for our students. Our parent organization said this is bad for our students. And yet we had to do it anyway. Very similar to what we're seeing with the budget reconciliation bill that Congressman Finstad was so proud to support. Like was mentioned in my bio, I would not have been able to go to college if it wasn't for Pell Grants, period, end of story. What Pell Grants represented for me was the idea that my community was willing to invest in me even though we weren't wealthy. One thing that wasn't mentioned, I have 10 siblings. Yes. So when I went to college, it was like lots of elbow room. Woo! Right? Like, whoa, it's just me and another person in this little room instead of 4? This is incredible. Wouldn't have been possible. Would not have been possible with the cuts that are being made in this budget reconciliation bill when it comes to education. 60% of Pell Grant recipients, if it is passed in its current form, will lose or have their grant amounts reduced. 60% of our poorest students, now their college future is at risk. Millions of dollars in cuts to education are not a path forward for our country, for our communities. It's not the direction we should be going. It is backwards and it is morally wrong. So I am calling on Congressman Finstad to start representing the people that he serves. I've talked to a lot of people around this district, and the one thing that keeps coming up is why won't he answer my phone calls? Why won't he answer my emails? Why won't they talk to me in person? Why won't they show up at town hall meetings? And to me, I don't know about you, the answer is clear. It is very, very difficult and uncomfortable and probably impossible to defend the indefensible. There are a lot of teachers. There are a lot of paraprofessionals. There are a lot of school nurses and administrators and counselors and social workers and lunch ladies and custodians who serve in our communities, in our schools with honor and decency, and they do it because they look at our children as our nation's best hope. We do it not to get rich, not to get famous. We do it because schools are the heartbeats of our communities all across our district. And so when the cuts come down from the federal level and then they impact the state, guess what? They're finding us. I was at a lobby day just last week talking to legislators as part of Education Minnesota. And one of the questions I asked our representatives was, what do these federal cuts mean for you when it comes to education? And they said, Jake, we're going to need a special session. We're going to need a special session because we're trying to build an airplane with parts that we don't know where they're coming from in the air. That's what these federal cuts mean for our schools. Our children deserve better. And so I hope you share my concern. I hope you share my frustration, because it's going to take a lot of people in rooms just like this, in St. Charles, in Red Wing, in Zumbrota, in Rochester, in Winona, in Mankato, in Laverne, everywhere. It's going to take people like this stepping up and saying, we need to do better. We can do better. And guess what? We can do it together, right? It's going to take every single person in this room to say, what can I do? What's my little thing? What's my brave little thing that I can do that nobody else can do to change this around? And if we do it, we're going to win. It's been done before. Guess what? Our district likes public school teachers, right? We can do it, and we will do it as long as we do it together. I really appreciate your guys' time. You guys are heroes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jake.